Happening right now. Here we go again. A volatile situation in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has once again closed the strait, even firing at ships trying to cross it. President Trump reacting to that just moments ago.
They got a little cute, as they have been doing for 47 years. We're talking to them. They wanted to close up the strait again, as they've been doing for years, and they can't blackmail us.
Let's get to Matt Finn. He is live in Dubai with why Iran suddenly changed its mind. Matt?
Aisha, we didn't make it a full 24 hours of the Strait of Hormuz being open, and now an intelligence official tells our Trey Yingst that the Iranian regime has closed the strait again. That intelligence official saying the Strait of Hormuz is under full IRGC control and effectively closed at this moment. Multiple vessels have been forced to turn around since this morning as they attempted to pass through the strait. The IRGC opened fire on at least one vessel as part of the closure policy they declared last night. Now, yesterday, around this hour, President Trump and Iranian foreign minister announced that the strait is open. But shortly afterwards, Iranian officials started to post that Iran was maintaining restrictions to pass through the strait, including payments. And also here in the Middle East, Israel's IDF claims the 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon is not solid either. The IDF posting Hezbollah ceasefire violation. Since the ceasefire came into effect, IDF soldiers south of the Yellow Line in southern Lebanon identified several incidents in which terrorists violated the ceasefire understandings by approaching from north of the Yellow Line towards IDF soldiers, posing an immediate threat. In order to remove the threat, the IDF conducted precise strikes against the terrorists and terrorist infrastructure sites. Now, the president has said that the second round of peace talks could possibly be happening in Pakistan in the next day or two. But now, as Iran claims it has control of the strait again and is firing at ships, it's not clear if the 2-week ceasefire, which will expire soon, will be extended or scrapped. Here's the president last night.
If you don't have a deal by Wednesday when the ceasefire ends, will you extend the ceasefire or will you
I don't know. Maybe not.
Again?
Maybe I won't extend it.
Okay.
But the blockade is going to remain. But maybe I won't extend it. So you have a blockade, and unfortunately we'll have to start dropping bombs again.
So we had these two major announcements, the ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon, and then also the president saying that the Strait of Hormuz is open. Now both seem to be failing. So we are tracking hour by hour the possibility of the second round of peace talks in Pakistan. We'll keep you updated, Aisha.
Okay, hopefully we get some information tonight, as the president promised. Matt Finn live for us in Dubai. Matt, thank you. So the back and forth on this Strait of Hormuz creating some confusion for all of those ships that are backed up on the waters there, causing several of them to turn around today. Take a look at this. Just early this morning, the Iranian military posting online the critical choke point is once again closed, despite the president saying just yesterday it was open and ready for business. Let's bring in now Medal of Honor recipient Dakota Meyer, a great friend of mine. Dakota, thank you so much for joining us in the program today. Great to see you. I want to get your hot take on this. It wasn't that long ago the strait was open for business, and here we go again, back to it feels like square one, where Iran says, nope, you can't come through.
Yeah, I mean, look, Iran wants a deal, so let's don't kid ourselves on that. Iran wants a deal. We want a deal. We want to get this done without having to, escalate this any further. I fully expect this to go back and forth. This is what Iran does. They're all about misinformation campaigns. They're all about taking it back, pushing forward. You can't trust them. I mean, this is nothing that's new, right? But I mean, look, here's what is hopeful. I'm hopeful that we're going to get to a deal here pretty soon. We have a president in place who the world obviously knows is going to, uphold what he says he's going to do, especially when it comes to this aspect of it. He's proven that over and over. So, I mean, look, I think we're in a good spot right now. I think that this is like maybe a minor setback. But what I think the bigger part of this is when we're looking at this peace talk with Lebanon and other places like that, yeah. I think that, what's really going to be instrumental in the secondary and tertiary effects of what we've done with Iran is that, we have taken away Hezbollah's top cover from Iran, so I think there's other aspects of this where we're really going to start getting some real peace deals, and there's a lot of opportunity for that.
What about ground troops? Democrats are out there making some noise saying that they feel like the next step here is that we're going to send ground troops in. But what's your assessment based on just how much damage we've done so far to the Iranian military, the Iranian Navy?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the smartest thing that the president has done in this administration and Secretary of War is they haven't laid out their objectives so that the enemy knows exactly what we're trying to get to and, wait us out to see that we're going to leave in order to start back up, right? Like, they have no clue. We have no clue as on the ground as Americans right now of exactly what we are trying to accomplish. We have like broad strokes of this, but I think it gives, our administration leverage to be able to follow through on things. What I hate getting into and I hate seeing is every problem with what the president is doing. It's all about hypotheticals. I just hear people bringing up hypotheticals. Well, we're going to do this or we're going to do this. We haven't done that. He hasn't shown us doing that yet. He hasn't even talked about doing that yet. I mean,
right.
Obviously, he is putting all of the options on the table, which is what is smart in any deal, right? He's getting himself ready to go in case he needs to do that. But what I do think is the best thing we have going is we have a president that doesn't want war. We have a leader up there who doesn't want war and who will do everything that he has to keep from, going to war. But I mean, if he has to do it, he's willing to do it, right? Because he puts America first, and that's what we're seeing.
And we've heard the vice president say that over and over again. We don't want this, and the president doesn't want this to turn into a long, drawn-out situation. We've got to wrap it up quickly. I got to get to this other breaking news with you, Dakota. What a day to have you on, because the president just announced that he is signing an executive order. He just did in the Oval Office to fast-track a federal review of psychedelics for PTSD. Here he is. Let's listen.
It directs the FDA to expedite their review of certain psychedelics already designated as breakthrough therapy drugs. In many cases, these experimental treatments have shown life-changing potential for those suffering from severe mental illness and depression, including our cherished veterans. Our veterans are having a tremendous hard time.
Dakota, I remember you had really severe PTSD and you were suffering, and then you went to Mexico and you tried this drug. I believe it's pronounced ibogaine. And this is what the president and his staff were talking about today. Can you just walk us through your experience?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I seen this as I was driving to the studio, and Congressman Luttrell, absolutely saved my life. He's been a big advocate on this. I mean, seeing the guys that are standing, Brian Hubbard in there, seeing the guys who have been the pioneers of trying to get this legislatively to where we don't have to send our men and women who have fought for this country, or really, this is going to be an extension. It's way bigger than just veterans. This is about healing America. It's about healing the world and healing the globe. And I went down there. I was a skeptic of it. I literally remember calling Congressman Luttrell before going down there and saying, this is not going to work. I've tried everything, and really just almost out of options of trying to balance, what I had, was I going to come home and be a victim of my own service because I couldn't find treatment that was going to absolutely help me while trying to be a parent, right? And so I went down there in 2019. And it absolutely changed my life. It absolutely saved my life. If you go look at me before I went down there versus I just re-enlisted back in the military, I'm back serving, I'm back doing what I love. I'm becoming and being every single day. I have the ability to focus on being the best version of myself. This is a drug. This is a medicine. I hate saying the word drug, but this is a medicine that is truly hopeful and giving back people the life that they are looking to have.
Can you just explain to people at home, that don't know anything about this, the first time they're hearing about it, what that experience was like when you took it? Because I remember you told Joe Rogan it changed your soul. What did it feel like?
Yeah, it's not like a high. It wasn't something. I'd taken plenty of medications before. Trying to go through the American protocol, as whatever you could call it, of trying to heal mental health. But it wasn't like a numbing. The best way for me to describe it, it was like an internal counseling session for you to be able to process, face, and file, what you had gone through and make sense of it in order for you to have the ability to move forward, right? For me, it was, I did ibogaine and then I did 5-MeO-DMT behind it, and it wasn't easy, and but it was me being able to face it wasn't like the symptoms, it was more of me being able to go in deep, get past my consciousness, and see what subconsciously was in me that was causing me to have this. I had severe anxiety. Anxiety was the symptom that I had the worst. I mean, to the point to where I was sleeping in my car multiple nights a week. My daughters never even seen me sleep. I would never sleep around them because I never wanted them to see that side of me until after 2019. And so, it was hard, but it was like I went down for a weekend in 2019, and after that I came back, and I literally, when I say I haven't had an ounce of anxiety since, I haven't.
Wow. That's a testament. I mean, that's a testimony right there. It feels like a very exciting time. I know there's people out there that are either suffering themselves or know someone who is. So maybe we're on the brink of something. If we can make this available for people here in the United States, they don't have to go to Mexico for it. Dakota.
And it's hard to understand. I don't want to interrupt you, but it's hard to understand. It was hard for me, especially growing up in a time where everything was bad, right? Like anything was bad.
Yeah.
And but what I want to say is what are we not willing to do in order to heal people?
Yeah, what a great statement there. I mean, I remember those days. I mean, the egg cracking, commercial. This is your brain on drugs. So I'm glad we're having the conversation in a serious way because there's a lot of people who could benefit from this. Dakota, great to have you. You are such a gift to all of us, and we're glad you're here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.